Let's get underway. So today we're talking about shifting from compliance to reliance. And when it comes down to it, we've got to look at what exactly is it that our clients want. And when we went out to our members, and we've surveyed probably about, we went out to the clients of our members, and we've surveyed about 10,000 entrepreneurs or small, medium-sized business owners. We asked them, what do you want from your accountant? And here were their top three. The client wanted timeliness, they wanted value for money, and they wanted proactivity. And we've talked in previous webinars about timeliness and using resources such as 1040 Scan or Expertax to help us get client work out the door in a much more timely manner. We've also talked in previous webinars about clients valuing their calls being returned in a timely manner, not necessarily with the answer, but we want them to be, we want to acknowledge that we received their email, that we received their phone call. So we manage their expectations. So from a timeliness perspective, we have discussed a couple of strategies that we can help to improve our level of timeliness. But we also want to focus on value for money and proactivity. Interestingly, when it comes to value for money, your clients aren't always looking for the cheapest tax return. Your clients aren't always as fee sensitive as you think they are. But we've got to remember that value is in the eye of the beholder. And I go into some accounting firms and they take great pride in spending 4 or 5 hours of time researching a tax credit and education credit to find that they've saved the client $130, but it's also cost them $600 when we look at what's actually on the timesheet. So a client doesn't necessarily value all that research that you've done, particularly when the money on the table is not exactly that high. So we've got to be conscious of where we're spending our time, and does our client value that time in terms of the results that we're getting for them. So we've got to be conscious of that. Then the other thing that clients like yours told us is they want their CPA to be proactive. And proactive is this interesting thing that it's all-encompassing and can mean so many things. So when we ask the question, what do you mean by proactive? Most of them in the follow-up questioning, they said, I just want my CPA to do something. I want them to buy me a cup of coffee. I want them to drop by my office, send me a news article, send me something interesting to help grow my business, send me a newsletter. Not to say that I'll necessarily read every single newsletter, but I want to know that my accountant's thinking about me, and I want to know that my accountant's looking out for me. So whether that's an IRS change, whether that's obviously the healthcare issues coming in, making sure that we're keeping our business owners educated on those types of changes. They're small and easy things that we can be doing to increase and enhance the perceived level of care. And when we go and survey a lot of clients that leave accounting firms, the number one reason that the clients leave is, well, there's two reasons. Particularly for the individuals, my CPA just didn't really care about me, which is, we know, is absolutely false, because one of the nice things about working with accountants is you are nice people. You do care about your clients. But unfortunately, I won't say you have a funny way of showing it, but you just don't, because of everything that's going on, we sometimes don't show how much we care. And it really is those little things of just sending them a newsletter, buying them a cup of coffee, taking them for lunch, saw this and thought of you. Those are very small things that we can be doing on a systemized basis to show our clients that we care. So we have a number of firms that have taken this proactivity, really systemized it and taken it to the next level, where they get an alarm bell. So that their internal standard is we have to make some sort of contact point with the client every 90 days. And they actually get an alert 15 days before that deadline to say, hey, Damien, you haven't reached out and gotten in touch with ABC Accounting. You've still got 15 days to do it. So they've taken this proactivity really to the next level, where they've got a reporting mechanism in place to make sure that every one of their clients, outside of the traditional correspondence, is getting some sort of individualized contact point. And that, more often than not, particularly for, say, the lower B and C category clients, that really is just hi Christine, saw this article about healthcare and thought of you guys. So that's definitely something that we want to do from a proactivity standpoint, is get a systemized thing in place. Because when we do ask a lot of accounting firms that we work with, they say, oh yeah, we're proactive. But when we actually go in and analyze it, they're proactive with their favorite clients. Not always their best clients, but their favorite clients. And some of those, they're still A category clients, but they're not necessarily a pleasure to deal with all the time. And they're the ones that we're not necessarily, excuse me, that we're not necessarily reaching out and touching on a regular basis. And what we've found is with this systemized approach to proactivity, we see the B clients moving into A clients, B clients moving up, low-end B clients moving up the scale, C clients moving into B clients. So these are all the different types of things that we can start doing during tax season to help this improve the perception that my CPA is proactive. So why don't we have a quick poll? And what I want you to do in this first poll is I want you to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5 across these three categories of what our clients value the most and what they want from their CPA. So broadly across the three of them, rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5. Give yourself a 5 if you're outstanding. Give you, and you've got the systems in place, 1 through 5, and let us know how we're doing. Good question that came through. Is the PowerPoint available to print? It will be emailed to all attendees following the webinar, so it probably comes out about an hour after the webinar, and we do that so we're not just sending course notes left, right, and center, but just sending it to the attendees. So that will come out within the next hour or so. We've got about 3/4 of the group having voted. Oh, I spelt more incorrectly. Apologies for that. Let's close that poll. Okay, so and share it. So the vast majority of more than half have said we're good, giving themselves a 4 out of 5. I'll be honest with you, I go into a lot of accounting firms, and when we go and rate, when the accounting firm rates themselves across those three, they typically give themselves in that 4, we're good. But then when we actually go and survey the clients, we see that their perception comes in at about a 2.5 to 3. So not necessarily a failing grade, but more often than not, we perceive what we're doing to be much better than what our clients perceive it. Not to say who is right or wrong, but as I said, perception is very much in the eye of the beholder. So we've got to look at things that we can do to, when we come back to our timeliness, value for money, proactivity, and we'll give you a couple of tips from the value for money and proactivity over the course of the next, what have we got, 50 minutes or so. Here are some of those example services that we look at from where we're taking a more active or more proactive role in our clients' lives. We're going to talk for the first part about businesses. What can we do what are the types of services that we can be providing that show that we're more proactive and we're moving away from just compliance over to Reliance. And on the screen in front of you, you're probably doing this already. You're probably doing it when a client asks for it. You're probably doing it with some clients on an ad hoc basis with no real structure or no real planning. And also what's probably happening is some of your clients are probably going elsewhere for these services because they didn't know that you were the right person to provide them. But what we want to do is we want this tax season to be talking about, in addition to obviously the tax and compliance, to say, what about the budgeting and forecasting? What's the strategic plan for the business? Why don't we book in our tax planning now and include it in our overall fee so that when we come down in, where we come time for tax planning in October, November, we've already got it on the calendar. These are some of the services that we really should be talking about to all of our business clients. And I know a lot of our member firms, they actually won't take a new client on unless they sign up for some level of planning, whether that's a half day for budgeting, whether that's a full day for strategic planning, or even we will not take a client on unless they sign up for tax planning, which takes place later on in the year. And what we're doing is we're basically putting into the calendar another event. Rather than us having to, in September, October, November, start promoting our tax planning services, for all new clients coming in, they've already paid for tax planning. It's already in their services, in their service level agreement. It's already in the calendar. How many times have you said, oh, let me get through busy season, I'll give you a call to tee up a time? And I would imagine that a vast majority of folks are nodding their head right now. And then how many times do we actually get around to making those calls? It's just the fact of we're busy, things come up, and we forget what we've got to do. So what I want to do is get out in front and say, your level of service, no, we're not the cheapest tax corporate tax return in town, business tax return. That's because we include budgeting and forecasting. That's because we include strategic planning. That's because we've already included this tax planning. So at a base level, we're getting out in front of our clients on 1 or 2, maybe even 3 more times than our traditional annual year end. We might just throw in for all of our business clients, particularly the ones that we don't do the bookkeeping for, we might just include in that is a QuickBooks review that takes place in October, November, where we send someone out to their office and we go in and clean up their QuickBooks, because we know that when the QuickBooks file comes over to us in, say, January, February for taxes, we typically have to spend a lot of time getting in there and cleaning it up, and then we and ah about, do we bill the client for this? So just build it into the client's fee. That's when we say, that's what I was going back to the idea of a client is not necessarily unwilling to pay for it, particularly when they've agreed to it up front. And this isn't a fixed price billing webinar, but if I am the business owner and I can see in my service level agreement exactly what I'm getting for my $5,000 a year, for my $1,000 a quarter, I'm making a buying decision about that, what I'm doing with that $5,000. However, when we do it the old-fashioned way, when we then send them a bill for 5 hours of QuickBooks cleanup at $70 an hour, clients get frustrated. They don't see the value for money because they think that their accounting department is running tickety-boo and it's going incredibly well, so they don't see that. But if we're out front and saying, look, what we know is when we get, if we're not the ones doing the bookkeeping, we've got to get involved and clean up those books, then that will help with everything else, and we've just included that in the fee. Clients then make the decision. Clients feel in control of what they're spending their money on. You're controlling the playing field, but they feel in control of what they're investing in. When we take it to the next level of more regular meetings, we're looking at management reporting, we're looking at cash flow forecasting, actual versus budget, board meetings. These are the types of part-time CFO, these are the types of services that you really need to be talking to your clients about now, so that we can get a couple of management meetings, a couple of budgeting meetings or tax planning meetings in the diary when they're sitting in front of you discussing taxes. So these are some of the services which move us from compliance to reliance. And what you'll see is it's getting in front of your clients on a more regular basis. That's all we're trying to do, because we know that when you have a conversation with your clients, you identify areas that you can help them. So what we're trying to do here is get a systemized approach to getting in front of your clients more often. The client is making one buying decision for these meetings. So that's, and when we paid for management meetings or a biannual review, whatever we want to call it, lo and behold, they take place. But when we talk about this stuff and then say, hey, look, why don't we get together once things settle down after tax season, and then we can talk about it, it never happens. So we've got to get things in the diary there and then, and that's really critical. But these are the services that do move us from compliance to reliance. As I said, you're probably doing them already for some clients. I'd hazard a guess you're probably not getting paid as well as you should be with the vast majority of your clients. So what we want to do is get these menu of services, these service level agreements, these service offerings available so that your clients can make a decision as to whether or not they want to invest in them. So your role in moving from compliance to reliance, I believe, is to simplify the financials, make the numbers visual. Accountants have a rare skill that can make sense of columns of numbers, whereas non-accountant, non-finance folks, and which is the vast majority of your client base, they cannot make sense of numbers. So what you have to do is you have to make those numbers visual, focus their attention, where do they need to spend their time, and then your objective is to hold them accountable. And that's when we go into that real strategic partner of CFO or external CFO, business coach, where we're sort of at the top end of the spectrum, maybe a handful of your clients, and you're playing a very active role in their business. We've got to get the right tools, not only to market, to facilitate, and then to focus their attention. We're really big fans of the Profit Sense industry data and analysis, and we're very big fans of just getting this report out to each and every business client, whether that's from a market, and we say tools to market because what we're doing is we're marketing to our current clients to move them up the value chain. So at a base level, every client, every business client needs to get the industry data and analysis. And so then when 100 or 200 of our business clients are all getting this industry data analysis, the $3,000 or $4,000 fee for this tool can be spread across all those clients. So that's what we're seeing as well, is when we do it for all of our clients, and honestly what we're doing is we're getting the first and second year accounting students in, we're getting the interns in, we're getting our firm administrators, interns, marketing folks. They run these reports. We don't need to be a highly skilled employee to run the report, to get the information into the report. We obviously need the skills from an interpretive standpoint, but we're getting this industry data and analysis out to all of our clients. And really importantly, in that service level agreement, the engagement letter, it's stated that as a part of this service, you get the industry data and analysis, which is just a benchmarking report of what's going on in your industry. So you can imagine this from a marketing perspective. When we're talking about with prospective clients, we're not talking about the best tax return, because I've always contended your clients would know a good tax return if it hit them in the head. But when you're talking to a residential a building construction business about net profit margin, about gross profit margin of their industry, when you're talking about profit per employee, when you're talking about sales growth for their business, for their industry, there's no way that you can have a client say, well, they don't really know about my business. So we get this out to all of our clients at the base level. There's no price tag to say industry level report $150. It's just factored in. And our clients like it. Our clients are responding positively to it. When we go out on any marketing call, any sales call, the industry information comes with us, and it's always there because we want to demonstrate that we know their industry. And this is one of the tools that helps us do this. We get a lot of folks that say, oh, well, my business is a little bit different. And internally, I smile and laugh a little bit, but externally, because I know that's not true, externally I say, look, I understand if your business is a little bit different, but we just want to get a baseline of where we are and then where we can go. So interpret this information as you will, but there's always some interesting stuff there. On the inside, I know your business isn't different, and I go into a lot of accounting firms, and even accounting firms say that their firm's a bit different. At the end of the day, it's not, from a financial perspective. And that's what we want to emphasize here, that yes, your business might be different from the services you provide. It might be slightly different from the way in which you provide them, but at the end of the day, gross profit percentage and sales growth is the same regardless of what your business is. So from a numbers and financial perspective, we think it's incredibly valuable to get this information to all of our clients. It takes our people 5 minutes to produce the report. Once we've got the bridging software in there, we just get the information, and it doesn't matter if the numbers are all, well, actually, sorry, from this, let's go back, going forward. This industry data and this is just a print. We don't actually have to enter any client information into this. This is just a print. So we get this out to all of our clients, and there should be no excuse, no umming and ahhing, oh, should I get this? Well, do you think my client would be interested in it? Who cares? Just get it to them. And this is one way in which we're showing that we're doing more for a client. What we do like to do is perhaps put a post-it note on it, maybe highlight. Obviously, a lot of a lot of figures here, but we just might look at gross profit margin, net profit margin, and sales growth with a post-it note that just says, how do you compare? Let's get together and chat. One of the great tools from Profit Sense that helps us do this, and if you're not doing it for all of your clients and you gave yourself a 4 out of 5 for we're good, these are the types of things, if you're not doing this type of service for your client, makes me think you're not as proactive, you're not as offering value for money as you think you are, because these are the types of things your clients respond very positively to. When we talk about making those columns of numbers visual, this is what I mean, and this is another report out of Profit Sense, and here we're talking about chocolate and confectionery manufacturing, where we're comparing the client's business to the industry. And this is what I mean by making it visual. So we've got liquidity, profits, profit margin, and sales. How is this business doing compared to the industry? And this is where the business clients typically pipe up with, oh, my business is a little bit different and whatnot. It's not from a financial perspective, but feel free to entertain what their thoughts. But we're making things visual. I've sat in on a lot of meetings where a CPA talks about the financials of an accounting firm, starts at revenue on the P&L and works their way down to the bottom line of the cash flow statement. And an hour and a half later, the client's eyes are glazed over. They have no idea what they're talking about, and it's an incredibly but the CPA thinks they've added a ton of value, but they haven't, because value is in the eye of the client, and what's happened is you lost that client at the 10-minute mark. Whereas when we're visual, we can really focus in on a couple of key things. We can give them ideas, tips for improvement, and as you'll see there, well, you might not be able to see it, but improvements for improving profit and profit margin in the cacao industry. Obtain literature on the latest government regulations and safety issues. Being familiar with these regulations and having these publications on hand can help establish the business as a quality provider. Another tip, take advantage of or negotiate for volume discounts or other concessions with current suppliers. Another tip, obtain internal reports that identify the business's key performance indicators and monitor those on a regular basis. Those tips aren't rocket science, but it's often when the business owner their nose is so close to the coalface, they rely on someone like their CPA to help them bring ideas to the table. And it doesn't matter if these tips aren't rocket science, but at least you're doing something to help them improve their profit margin. When we talked about some of those meetings that take place on a regular basis, this is one of the tools that we have, and I know one of our members, what they do, they have an annual meeting to talk about the trends. They just call it the trend meeting, and what they do is they go into Profit Sense, and I think you could even download the trends out of QuickBooks somehow, I don't know how, but we use Profit Sense, and all we do is we identify 5 to 6 trends in the business, copy and paste those onto PowerPoint, and then spend the next 90 minutes discussing the trends. And you can see accounts payable days, for example, here. We can see what the trend is. We can see what the benchmark is. So are we doing well? What's the trend saying? And we have a conversation about it. And our clients have responded with, that was the most valuable meeting I've had talking about those graphs. I know we spend a lot of time talking about tax credits and depreciation schedules and all that really exciting stuff, but this 90 minutes that we spent discussing these graphs has been the most valuable use of my time. So when we do look at offering the management reports or the management meetings or a planning meeting, what we want to do is we want to make sure that's as systemized as possible so that every meeting is exactly the same, so that when we prepare these meetings, we can get going very quickly. We discuss the same things. We hit the same items on the agenda. And so we're very much in control of the time that we're spending with our clients. Another tool out there, this is called Fathom HQ, and this is really useful if you've got any clients on Xero, any clients on those web-based platforms. It just sucks the information straight into the system. So there's very little data entry, and it's a seamless process of Xero talking to Fathom. And what we do here is on a quarterly or monthly basis, we go down our key performance indicators and we look green, green, oh, red, 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 red. So rather than starting at the top of that P&L, we come to the KPI and we're like, oh, right, okay, where do we need to focus our attention on? You know what, this debt to total assets, this gearing conversation, that is not for us on our quarterly management meetings, but our operating profit margin, we've got an alert there, so we definitely need to have a conversation about that. And our accounts receivable days, nowhere near our target, so we've definitely got to have a conversation about that. That's what we're going to talk about today. So these are the types of tools that help bring our attention directly to what's important. Another great way of making those numbers visual, Fathom HQ, where we've identified the KPIs and we've broken them down into the various categories. Where are we going to focus our attention on this quarterly management meeting? I'm a CPA, don't really feel that comfortable talking about customer satisfaction, but let's find out someone that can help. So we partner with whoever can help us on customer satisfaction. But hang on, cash flow margin and accounts receivable days. That's where we're going to spend our 30-minute, 45-minute, 50-minute conversation this quarter. I know some members in our membership group, they're charging $2,500 a quarter for this type of conversation, for this type of management meeting, and some of those meetings last 15 minutes. Do you think that is a nice return on 15 minutes? $2,500? And we ask the question, why? How can you get away with that? Sounds like it sounds like we're ripping clients off. But what it means, though, is when we use these tools, we can focus in on exactly what we need to talk about. And if everything is on track, if everything is on target, we've just got green lights, all we do is we say, you know what, Andrea, we've got green lights, so you're on track to make X numbers of improved profit, revenue, whatever it is. You get back to doing what you're doing and let us get back to doing what we do best. So good meeting, and we'll see you next quarter and we'll see what the numbers say. So this helps us facilitate. We don't have to spend all this time. I go into a lot of accounting firms and they're exporting from QuickBooks into Excel, and they're trying to do all their own regression analysis and trying to do their own discounted cash flow or create their own graphs. Find the tools and get it out to all of your clients, because I know your clients are interested in this information. To make sure you are paying attention, let's just have a quick poll just to see, would your business clients be interested in how they're performing against their industry? So let us know what you think. Okay, we've got about 70% voted. Let's get a couple more if that's okay. Yep, so let's close that now. 80% voted. Let's share. So nobody said not applicable, so they don't have that individual, which that might be. Nearly half has said not sure. I think you're crazy. I honestly think you're crazy. If you don't think your clients are interested in how they're performing against the industry, there's no way that you're proactive. There is no way that you're talking to your clients on a Reliance type conversation. 56% of you said yes, and you're absolutely right. What your clients struggle with is how they pay for it. What your clients struggle with is how you can help them. But 44% of you think that your clients aren't sure if your clients are interested in how they're performing against the industry. Huge missed opportunity. And if any of you said that you rate yourself good on that proactive and value for money scale, then I think that's an indication that we might not necessarily be as proactive, offering as much value for money as we think we are. Because if you're interested in how you're performing against the industry, then I can guarantee your clients are. And I know your practice is a little bit different, or their business is a little bit different, but to just find out how they're performing against the industry from a base level, it's something that your clients are very interested in. It's what they want, and we've got to get out on the front foot and be providing that for them. Otherwise, those 44% of you that said not sure, they will look elsewhere and they will be susceptible to someone else having this conversation with them, whether that's another CPA firm or a business coach or a business advisor, who knows. But if you're not having the conversation with them, those clients are very susceptible to going elsewhere. So let's keep moving. Here's another great visual trend analysis. And as I said, we're seeing accounting firms. This is interesting because Fathom HQ is a web-based program. So we're actually seeing a lot of these meetings don't have to take place face-to-face. They might be face-to-face once or twice a year, but then the other meetings, maybe 2 or 3 times a year, we meet by GoToMeeting. We have a phone conversation. We log into the platform together. We log into our accounting together. We log into our analysis together, and we can have a really valuable conversation about the various trends. Your clients will understand that graph, but if you started talking about total current liabilities and working capital from an accounting perspective, they would really struggle. So we've got to get the right tools that help us to facilitate this conversation. And strangely enough, when you bring the right tools to the table, that's when the client makes the connection of value for money. I finally understood what my accountant's been talking about for the last 12 months. I have no problems paying this. This was a really valuable conversation because I finally understand my P&L. Finally understand my financials. I have no problems paying for this because this has been a valuable conversation. Okay, so we've got to get the right tools. Profit Sense, wonderful tool to help, and Fathom HQ, another wonderful tool to help as well. But I would say from a base level standpoint, getting Profit Sense up and running before tax season just to get the industry reports is definitely doable. And as long as we factor in a fee for every business client, and it's just $10, $15, $20 into every single business client, what we're able to do then is we're able to split that $3,000 subscription fee to let's just say it was $3,500 subscription. We've got 100 business clients. It's a $35 fee that we're factoring in to the fee that we're providing to our clients. So in our service level agreement, it's there. We're not focusing on the idea of, oh goodness, I've got to sell a $3,000 engagement to pay for this subscription. I've just spread it across all my clients. And then we just get the administrative team, the interns, whoever it is, the marketing person, to print out the industry reports. And then we're off to the races. So just take that first step, and as I said, we can get that up and running and print the industry reports before our clients' information has even come in. In fact, we could just send out the industry reports to all of our clients, even if they haven't got the information in. Just send it to them as a PDF, send it to them in the mail to say, hey, hi Christine, saw this, we've got access to some interesting industry information, really valuable, have a look, and look forward to discussing when you come on in the next time. Pricing your services. We're big fans of good, better, best, small, medium, large, gold, silver, bronze. At a base level, what does every client need? So good. So this is where we look at the preparation of the corporate return, the industry analysis, the portal for secure document exchange and communication. That is what every client needs, and that is what our good level of service is. Then better, what are some nice add-ons? Maybe some more contact points, maybe some meetings, maybe some more reports. And then best, if I was serious about my business, what would I need? So here's one example from a firm out of New Zealand, and the managing partner of this firm is the former CFO of Nike Australia. So he understands the value of really good reports, of really good management meetings. And so what they've done, they've taken a novel approach. This is for their business owners, small, medium, large, and the business owner then makes the decision as to the level of service they want. And it includes, and you can go to rightway.co.nz and you can see what's included, and obviously some of it's in New Zealandish, so if you do need it translated, let me know. I'm not New Zealander, by the way, but I also speak New Zealander in addition to Australian and American. But what we want to do is we want to control the playing field, but the client is in control of what they pay. If anyone can think of one thing they've done wrong on that that marketing piece, please put that into the question and answer box. And what we've done, and some of the verbiage here. So for the small business, for the small coffee, not necessarily small business, because I could be a small business but want the large level of service. We take care of the annual tax headache, help free up your time on the paperwork, and spend time helping you grow your business for $275 a month. Large, for business people who know the advantages of quality advice on a regular basis and want comprehensive reporting. So, and then once you go to their website, you'll see what sits below that, and it lists out all the services. But what we find is that the business owner now is in control of the decision. And go to Fathom HQ, and I can't imagine that you wouldn't say no to a few more clients at 2,000 plus a year, maybe a few clients at 5,000 plus a year, and a handful of clients at $10,000 or more a year. So Ray just sent you the website there for Fathom, fathomhq.com. So that should have popped up in the GoToMeeting panel. So here's where we're seeing the industry, the accounting industry, move towards more regular, towards the good, better, best, small, medium, large. And interestingly, small, medium, large, once you actually go on, doesn't actually talk anything about the write-up work. This firm's not doing the write-up. That's a separate service. But they're meeting on a regular basis to discuss the financial performance of the business, moving from compliance to reliance. So now the business owners are relying on Rightway to help them understand the financial aspects of their business. So one of the key help sheets that we use in our practice is where we just get this in front of every single client, business client, when they come in for their meeting. It's I think there's probably about 20 questions. Do you currently have the resources to grow your business without experiencing cash shortages? Yes, no, not sure. And every year the client just goes through that questionnaire. So it's not relying on us to remember to have that conversation. So look at ways in which we can have the conversation without having to remember to have the conversation. So our internal process is that this is on a clipboard waiting for the client. When the client gets walked into the meeting room, Carol on reception, she says, Chris is going to be on his way in, but in the meantime, would you mind just filling out this quick survey or quick questionnaire just to make sure we're aware of everything. Sometimes they'll say, well, Carol, I filled this in last year, and we say, look, we know, but just fill it in again, just make sure we're aware of anything that's changed. And if they haven't filled it in, we spend the first 5 minutes of that meeting filling in the questionnaire together, because anything in this no and not sure, they are phenomenal opportunities for us as the trusted business advisor. So get a help sheet system in place, 10 questions, it's all you need just to start the conversation, and have all of your clients fill it, have all of your business clients fill it out. So that's businesses. Let's move over to individuals and how we can help move from compliance to reliance for our individuals. One of the big things is wealth management for us, and we're really big fans of wealth management, and the CPA is being the quarterback, if you will. Sorry to use a sporting analogy, but I figured since the Super Bowl is this weekend, I could get away with it. But to be the quarterback of this process. So whether you're providing it or whether you've got relationships, I need you to have this conversation with all of your individuals to make sure they're covered, because you are the one, you are the trusted advisor, and you understand the client's tax situation. A lot of their other advisors will not understand the tax implications, and particularly on a wealth management side. And the CPA is constantly looking at the whole picture. So your clients need it, they want it, you're the trusted advisor, and you're perfectly positioned to provide it. So whether or not you're licensed, and why don't we have a quick poll just to see whether or not, yes or no, do you currently offer wealth management services? Just let us know, give us some feedback. Do you currently provide them? And maybe some level of wealth management services. So we've got about 80% voted. We'll close that and we'll share it. So we've got, let's just say 50-50, 50% yes, 50% no, and hopefully for the people that have said yes, we'll give you a couple of ideas as to how to improve the wealth management take-up with your clients, improve the wealth management conversation. Those people that don't offer it, I want to give you a dialogue so that we can find out where your clients are going for these services and make sure they're getting them looked after. So let's keep going there. And here is our Wealth Management Circle of Life. This is the tool that we use, and premium members, you can log on and download this and customize it yourselves. But every individual that comes in for their tax meeting, we have this conversation with them. We have to have this conversation with them. And all we do is we go around the circle of life. So we start up the top. Most comfortable place to start for CPAs. I'm not going to go through every single piece of the puzzle here, but just the key ones that give you some really good conversation pieces. So obviously tax is the most comfortable place to start, and obviously your clients are quite comfortable with it, you're comfortable with it. Let's go beyond the tax preparation and incorporate tax planning. We talk to a lot of firms and they say, well, we do, of course we do tax planning for those clients that need it. And I say, well, how do you find out if a client needs it? Well, it's sort of, we go through the list and then promote it to or write out to the people that we think. I think that's a travesty, and I think we're really missing opportunity there. So what we want to do for all of our individuals is talk tax planning at the tax preparation meeting. So we've booked it in for later on in the year to sit down and do some tax planning, and that's incorporated into the fees. So then a client's already made that buying decision. We've orchestrated another meeting with that client, gives us an opportunity to identify where we might be able to help our clients in the future. So the first piece of that puzzle is actually booking in a tax planning meeting for later on in the year. And that's been very effective, and it's also been a very effective way of increasing the average value of our individual clients in terms of our average transaction value. So our returns went from, say, $550 up to about $950 as a result, the average fee, as a result of including the tax planning. Now the client just has one buying decision. They don't have to make a buying decision later on in the year as to whether or not they want it. So I'm going to skip over investments because that scares a lot of people, but with the right broker-dealer, with the right relationship in place, you have this massive back office of support to help advise your clients on investments. You're not stock pickers, and you're not down there on the trading floor. It's a much more structured approach to investments. Let's go jump ahead to retirement. And what I'd encourage you to be doing, if you are offering wealth management services, obviously go around the circle. But if you're not offering them, let's just hit on the key ones that we want to discuss. Maybe find out who is looking after their investments for them. Who are they speaking to? Make a note of it. Put it in the permanent file. Perhaps reach out to them. Take them for a cup of coffee. So we don't necessarily have to have the knowledge to talk about investments, but we definitely want to find out who they're going to for that advice. Make a note. Put a note into the file and go from there. But obviously, we want to jump ahead to retirement. When do you want to retire? Will you have enough money to retire? The clients might be so young that it's not really on their radar at the moment, but we want to make sure we hit on it so that when we are ready for the conversation, this isn't something completely new to them. So what if you run out? And what I'd suggest you to do, if you're not providing wealth management services, find one of those retirement calculators that you know and get familiar with that and sit in the meeting and say, look, when do you want to retire? Will you have enough money? Let's just go have a look at the Fidelity calculator just to see if you've got enough money. What you'll find is your clients really appreciate you taking them through that conversation because there's no pressure. Whereas when they actually do that with the Fidelity advisor, they're thinking, oh God, what is this person trying to sell me? I'm really uncomfortable. Whereas when they're sitting with you, their trusted advisor, and you're not going to cram product down their throat, really valuable conversation. And what you'll see is the shoulders, the anxiety level just drops because you've asked them, when do you plan to retire? Do you know how much money you need? Let's just go have a look at a Fidelity calculator and see what it means for us. So we have really valuable conversations around that retirement question. Estate planning, some of your clients have more money than God, and we want to make sure that we want to hit estate planning, even if they don't have more money than God. We never know who they know. We never know who they might know. So what are some talking points? How do we avoid as much tax as possible? So again, it's a systemized approach to the conversation. We'll skip ahead to income protection. A couple of talking points here. Clients' number one asset is not their home, it's their ability to make money. So what happens if your clients are disabled, maybe for 3 months, involved in an accident? They might be a weekend warrior like myself, get hit by a car on their bike like I have been, and then they're put out of action for 3 months. Are they going to be able to pay the mortgage? Are they going to be able to pay the credit card? I think you've got to be asking that question on a regular basis, on an annual basis. And we ask it on an annual basis, and one of the reasons why is because we never know what might have changed in their circle of friends or whatever it is. We always ask it, and this is a great time to ask it, because you never know if their brother-in-law, co-worker, somebody fell off the roof taking down the holiday lights. We never know what might have happened. We never know what might have changed. Typically, we're aware of what happened to the individual, changes to the individual, because if we are proactive, we're in regular contact with them, they're asking us questions, so we're doing that. Whereas we may not necessarily be aware that sister-in-law was diagnosed with something and had to come out of the workforce for an extended period of time. We don't know necessarily that their mother or father-in-law, mother-in-law was put into long-term care. We don't know that somebody was made either permanently disabled or short-term disability during the course of the year. So that's why we always want to talk income protection. The same thing with insurance. We want to make sure our clients have the life insurance to protect protect against the loss of a breadwinner, and also provide liquidity. Again, your clients feel more comfortable with you asking this conversation because you're not an insurance salesperson trying to sell them more insurance. So work your way around the circle of life. Find out who is looking after them for their retirement planning. Find out who is looking after them for their income protection. Is it Aflac? That's fine, but I just want to find out who's looking after it. Who is taking care of their insurance? We're not talking about home insurance, car insurance, we're talking about life insurance. Are they satisfied with the level of service? Who's covering it? Could it be a potential referral source? Let's just get the names and numbers of these individuals. Mortgages, same type of thing, that we could ask the question, is it the right time to refinance? Because as the accountant, as the CPA, you are the holder of all this information, and if a client goes to a mortgage broker, they're going to need all their information off you anyway. So why don't you just find the right calculator online at whatever mortgage broking company you like, just to have the conversation and just to make sure your clients know what their options are. Again, this is a way we move from compliance to Reliance. We're not offering mortgage services, but we're asking about them just to make sure our clients are covered. Education, 529 plans. Grandparents love them because the grandparents are in control of the money. We're not putting money into a bank account that the parents are controlling. It's going into a 529 plan that the client is in control of to help with education. And if any of you have kids in college or grandkids in college at the moment, you know how expensive education is, so a 529 plan is a great opportunity to help save for grandchild's or children's education and enjoy some tax benefits of it. And again, a CPA is the perfect one to be able to explain the tax implications, the tax savings, as a result of going down the 529 plan path. Business planning, exit strategy, succession, buy-sell agreements. Individuals, we want to have the conversation because you never know. Somebody might have that entrepreneurial seizure at some point and look to buy their own business. They might be looking to buy into a business. And if they are business owners, we should be having this conversation as well anyway. But we want to make sure the buy-sell agreements are in place, succession plans are in place. because these are all opportunities to say, what about the exit strategy? What about funding the buy-sell agreement? Do we have enough insurance to fund the buy-sell agreement in the event of the death of a shareholder? These are the questions you should be asking, and these are the questions that you're the perfect person to be asking. And then what we can do is, look, we're here to talk taxes, but I want to make sure our buy-sell agreements are in place or our succession plan has been discussed. Why don't we schedule some time now for maybe June, July, August to sit down and have that conversation? So what we're doing as we go through, and we've got the other there, special needs, divorce, any other type of planning, we have this conversation now, working our way around the circle of life. We can honestly do it in 25 minutes or less, 30 minutes maybe, 15 minutes if you really wanted to hustle. But what we want to do is identify potential meeting points, potential discussion items for later on in the year. So this circle of life is a real great tool to help us work out, get in front of our clients later on in the year. And so that's what we mean in terms of all of our clients at an individual level, at the service level agreement. We call it the annual financial physical. So every client, every individual has the financial physical, which all it is going around this circle of life. Here are some of the tools that we use to cross-sell and to facilitate the discussion. So the individuals, when they come in for the meeting, the blue sheet is put in front of them, and then also the green sheet is put in front of them. So the blue sheet just focuses on mortgages, so just asking the questions, getting the information. Now that we do have the computer or the web platforms, we don't necessarily need this, but we typically, or we just fill it in very quickly, and then we go immediately over to the website to plug the information in. Green sheet, phenomenal. Do you have a will? When do you plan to retire? Will you have sufficient assets? We do ask this every year, and typically, so when a client says yes, we just always want to know when it was last updated. Have any of these changed? Because we found that before 2008, the plan to retire, that has changed quite dramatically since 2008. And when will you have sufficient assets? Yes, no, not sure. That box got a lot of ticks. It has been getting a lot more ticks. So the green sheet is a great tool to help facilitate the conversation. There's no obligation, there's no buying, there's no selling, but the one down here is, would you like to meet our financial advisor at no charge or obligation? This is a nice question as well. Do you have disability protection? Yes, no, not sure. We make sure that, and again, it's the same thing where if they haven't filled it in, we go through every year and we just talk about long-term care disability protection. So we remind clients that what is disability protection? It's not only long-term disability, long-term care, but it's also if you are laid up in traction because you fell off the roof, you're involved in an accident, you were diagnosed and you had to seek intense medical attention, would your obligations be covered? So that's really key for us. Here's what we do. This is the marketing letter that we send to new clients, to current clients, to prospective clients. Are you ready for your financial physical? Most of us have a regular physical to periodically check our physical health, but when was the last time you had a financial physical? Complimentary basis, this is for our clients, but it's factored in to the fee that we charge, and during this meeting we'll review your tax situation, your retirement plans, charitable considerations, and other key financial areas. The result will be a set of clear and concise recommendations to improve your current tax and financial position, or I think it's health at the bottom line. So this is the message as a part of our financial physical. So in our service level agreement, all individuals must have their financial physical, which is the circle of life conversation. So not only are clients getting preparation of income, federal income tax return, preparation of state income tax return, they're also getting their portal for secure document storage and exchange. They're getting their newsletter. It is stated that they're getting their free free invites to seminars. They're getting this full level of service which improves the perception of value for money. Okay, they're charging me $850 for an income for my tax return, or for $850, am I getting my tax returns, I'm getting my financial physical, I'm getting my portal and document exchange, I'm getting free seats at the seminars that they run 6 times a year, I'm getting their newsletter. That's actually quite a nice bundle of services that I'm happy to pay $850 for. I'm getting value for money. I'm the client and I'm getting value for money. Or is it annual financial tax return, $450, and then I can pay for all this other stuff, which never happens, never going to do. So that's why we see a real shift towards good, better, and best. And with good, better, best, what we're trying to do is just get more contact points with our clients to identify more opportunities to help them, because we know that when you do sit in front of your clients, you do identify opportunities to help your clients. So if you're not licensed, start the conversation. Who is looking after this for you? Are they a potential referral source? Make a decision after tax season if you want to go down for it. Whether you want to go down this path, incredibly valuable, incredibly rewarding from a professional and financial standpoint. So, but there's obviously steps that we've got to take, and it's a big step that we've got to take. But just gauge whether or not your clients are interested in you being the one that provides this for them. Let's have our final poll, couple of minutes before we finish up. What's holding you back from offering wealth management services? And maybe those people that are offering them, what did hold you back before you took the leap? So let us know. Okay, so we've only got about half voted there. Okay, we've got about 80%. Time coming to the end. Let's have a share. I prefer to be independent and sit on the sidelines. Strangely enough, your clients don't want that. Your clients have these questions. Going back to you have a unique understanding of numbers and tax code that they do not, that their other advisors do not. So you can sit on the sidelines for all you want, but I tell you what, your clients are looking for this, and as I said, they will go to another accounting firm if they're able to get this type of service. Good relationships with financial planners. Have a look at the numbers. Find out how much work you're sending them and how much they're sending you. And when we analyze this for our members, we typically see a gross imbalance between what you're sending them and what they're sending you. I'm not a stock picker or salesperson. Absolutely. That's why we never said you're selling life insurance. But we want to make sure that our clients are covered for life insurance, because I think you would agree that not a stock picker, oh, my spelling was atrocious today. We're not a stock picker, we're not a salesperson, absolutely. But we have a team that helps us identify the investment portfolio, investment strategy, identify the right insurance products. It's really interesting when we do help our clients with life insurance, we typically end up taking life insurance away from the client because the life insurance salesman has sold them too much. I don't want to lose my clients' money. Surprisingly enough, we haven't lost our clients' money. And yeah, we dipped. We had a down around 2008, but we made that back, and we're in a better off position than we were in 2008 because we have the right team, we have the right partnership, and we can have a conversation about that after tax season, about the way you structure it. But 44% of you saying I prefer to be independent and sit on the sidelines. If that is your strategy, sitting on the sidelines, then I don't think we're being proactive, and I think your clients are susceptible to leaving and going where they will get these services provided for them. So, tips, your clients will say no, obviously, when you first go out and reach out to clients about these services, but it's about increasing the contact points and about education and telling them, sharing with them what they the full range of services that you can do. I would really encourage you to find the tools, learn the tools, and then use the tools across the board. Delegate it to someone in the office. Get someone in from an intern or administrative basis just to get the information together, to get those industry reports printed and sent out to clients, to get all of the questionnaires ready for when a client comes in. Never give up. Use those help sheets, the blue sheet, the green sheet, that business questionnaire to facilitate the conversation. And it really takes the onus off you from having to remember it. When we are shifting from compliance to Reliance, I'm not going to suggest that 100% of your clients will all sign up within the first week. But over the course of the year, as we shift, change the tone of that conversation, we will see our clients moving across, moving up the value chain. What I would encourage it, and I would expect after year one, 30% of our clients, a third of our clients will have at least moved in that direction of good, better, best, adding some additional business advisory, financial planning services to the service mix. We'll then get more clients as we go. And then what will happen is, as we become comfortable with this, we'll realize the value in it, and we'll say to new clients coming in, look, if you're not serious about your business, then how can we be serious about your business? We're not here just to provide a tax return. Rather, we play a much more proactive role in our in our clients' businesses and in the financial health of our clients. So if you don't like it, sorry, but it's not going to be a good fit for us. So folks, hopefully I've given you a couple of ideas to make the shift away from just compliance to Reliance. Contact points, valuable information, proactivity, value for money. That's what we've really got to focus on. So what I'd like to do, folks, there, come just past midday or 11 o'clock here in California. If you do have any questions, let me know. The recording will go onto our YouTube channel if you need anyone else to view it. CPE for premium members will come out towards the end of the week. Course notes will come out within the next hour once I get the report. So let me know if you have any questions. Best of luck for tax season. Join us for tax season marketing tomorrow at the same time, and look forward to hearing how your tax season goes. Have a wonderful day. Thank you very much for joining us. Goodbye.